The Jeffrey Epstein cover-up is continuing on in full force when it comes to the client list and the video footage that they released of his cell, how there's proof of more manipulation of that footage. So we'll watch a couple of videos showing that they for sure know who's on the list. They're not releasing that information. No one connected with him is being arrested when they completely should be. This is a massive issue, and we'll see how they are continuing to cover this up.
The president of the United States is trying to cover the Epstein story. It's the double down right here on Truth Social. A big post saying that actually it's the Democrats who wrote the Epstein files. This is just after Elon Musk, who worked with Trump for many months, said that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Obviously, we've already seen deflections from the president about Epstein, saying that it's a disgrace to talk about him.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? It just seems like a desecration.
But today it goes a step.
This is really sad to see what we're seeing, and I hope a lot of people's eyes are starting to be open to the fact that almost every single time the conspiracy theorists have some theory and evidence and something they're trying to put forth, they're right almost every single time. I want to highlight this point in reference to this because this whole word here, which I can't even say, the pizza one, that was said for years to be a complete, false, made-up conspiracy. And as we see here, John Podesta's friend, who debunked that word, arrested for, as you can see, doing that to toddlers. So this guy trying to debunk it was actually involved with it, it turns out. So yes, it is a big deal to find out who was on this list, and they are completely covering it up. And to say that, oh, why are people still obsessed trying to figure this whole thing out? Because it's pretty important to know if people in our government controlling the different ways how our nation is run are going to islands and molesting children, then yes, it's important to know who's doing that, because what would they, if they all do that, then they have no care for anything else for caring for our country and the betterment of the people of the United States.
Step further, quick context. There's been a lot of infighting in the Republican Party over basically who's at fault for the giant botch of the Epstein files, with the majority of Republicans not wanting to believe that Trump himself was against the full release, but rather that he was sort of tricked into not releasing the Epstein files by one of his lackeys. But today, Donald Trump came out and basically backed Pam Bondi, saying they're all going after Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Democrats who conned the world with the Russia hoax? They created the Epstein files just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton Steele dossier. Now, this is
again, sad to see, because many people had hoped that actually we would get some truth out of this whole Epstein files. I mean, now Donald Trump's coming out and saying that it's a thing created by the Democrats. It's a made up thing, something. Why are we still focusing on it? Then why, if it wasn't important in the first place, did he invite all those right-wing conservative politicians and influencers to come to the White House and receive phase 1 of the Epstein files, like they were going to actually release the information and actually give us something, when in reality, what are we seeing? Now they're just trying to play it off. And yes, probably because a lot of them are on that list. I mean, even if I was watching a video earlier of some of the girls, actually, it'll come up. We'll watch it here in a moment. One of the girls, I think it was in this, sorry, I can't remember exactly, but you can see some of the girls. No, it's not in this video, sorry, but some of the women who were going to Epstein's apartment to meet with other politicians, you can see they were of an adult age, but they were still younger women. So some of them could be on that list even for doing that. Maybe not everything is involving kids, but it's still completely wrong. No matter what, a lot of these people are on the list, and that's absolutely for sure, and they're covering it up. This guy is Kash Patel. We thought that he would actually say the truth, and it sounds here like he's really wants to get the truth of this information out. And now that he's director of the FBI, who knows? I mean, these are the most evil people in the entire world. They could have threatened every single person that he cares about. And, but, this information needs to be known, all of this stuff connected to Epstein. So let's see here about Kash Patel again, talking about this in 2023.
Like, what the hell are these Republicans doing? Oh,
I saw you
give out the list.
I saw you make news this morning about that. I got to get to that.
Yeah.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. You don't think that Bill Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list?
you can see that article here, probably hard to read, but it says Kash Patel, FBI has Jeffrey Epstein's little black book. Trump should release it on day one and the rest of the footage of the DC pipe incident. So they saying they have the list. Even what Pam Bondi came out and said that that file was on her desk looking at the list. They have the information. I'll show a video here in just a moment. First, Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer saying that he swears to God, raising his right hand, that he knows people who are on the client list and they're not being released to protect them. And then we'll also see other footage and pictures from inside Epstein's property where they had the names of people here, but because it's third parties and they didn't want to get people involved, they didn't release the information. A massive cover-up is going on, and when they cover up stuff like this, then what are we doing paying them like 40% in our taxes? Let's pay 40% in our taxes to people who can't even give us the names of people, politicians in the United States even, who are going and committing one of the most vile acts of all time. I mean, come on. I mean, it's important. These things are important to know.
And why is it that the Senate, and good for Senator Blackburn to try to get it out, but then Dick Durbin comes over the top and says, no, we're not going to release the names. I don't care about the list itself, but if release the names, right? What the hell are the House Republicans doing? They have the majority. You can't get the list? You're going to accept Dick Durbin's word, or whoever that guy is, as to who is on that list and who isn't, and that it can and can't be released? Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the files are. We have an election coming up, and we need to adjudicate this matter at the polls. God knows the FBI and DOJ aren't going to do anything. But how are you going to reward the FBI with a new headquarters building after their illegal surveillance on Donald Trump continues with a reauthorization of FISA, and we can't even get basic documents out? This is why America hates Congress. At the same
So it is sad to see, because I think Kash actually meant that. I don't think that this goes down like to the most highest level conspiracy where it's like, he's here, a disinformation agent, and then now that he's in, he's saying it, so we can't trust him. I think he actually believed that. I think Dan Bongino actually believed that as well. And then when they get in positions of power to get this type of information, to release it to the public, then they get threatened beyond what you could ever imagine. I mean, our government is for sure doing those types of things, threatening. And then just look at the list of people who have died in connection with some of these politicians, specifically the Clintons, who for sure Bill is on that list. And they say, you want to be added to that list as well, you and your family? Accidents like that happen all the time. What was it? Bill Cooper found shot twice in the back of the head, killed suicide, shot twice, and they labeled it as suicide. Those are the types of things that happen. So here's Ben Shapiro talking about supporting Donald Trump's statement, saying, why are people still focusing on the Jeffrey Epstein files?
For the American people more generally. And he says, guys, don't we have better things to do? You can understand his irritation. The man is trying to negotiate an end to a war in the Gaza Strip. He's trying to negotiate an end to a war in Ukraine. He's attempting to revivify the American economy. He's attempting to crack down on illegal immigration. On a list of American priorities by the polls, the Epstein-Maxwell case comes in pretty close to zero, just on a list of priorities.
That's where I would disagree completely, and a lot of other people would as well. I'm sure this post too, from You Won't Believe Me, on Instagram, feels the same way. It's not on the bottom of the list, almost at complete zero, to know what politicians in the United States who are taking our tax dollars and trying to make decisions like, say, you can't own certain guns, you can't say certain things, you can't do certain things, yet these people are flying to islands and doing the most evil thing that you could ever imagine. Yeah, we should know. It's high on the list for many Americans to know who is on that list and what they're covering up. So here's some more information on this, some more clips, just to see the backtracking and the things changing now. I don't think we'll ever get the list at all, because now with seeing Trump and his cabinet coming out and saying that this is trying to make it a political issue, the Democrats created this, when for years the main focus of this has been from the conservative side of politicians. It's not going to work, but I don't think we're going to see that list at all. Highly powerful people are on that list, and that's why they're doing everything to cover it up.
What's going on with my boys, and in some cases gals? This is so dumb. He has gotten ratioed by his own supporters. I think this is a line that has never been crossed with Donald Trump. That is where we are at.
I know for a fact documents are being suppressed, and they're being suppressed to protect individuals. I know the names of the individuals. I know why that.
So why is this guy not being brought in front of Congress to testify of what this is under oath?
Alan Dershowitz, Epstein's former lawyer. Listen to this.
But I hand to God, I know the names of people whose files are
Yeah, his client's dead.
being suppressed in order to protect them.
Are these politicians?
He knows the names of people who are on the list. Their names are being suppressed to protect them.
Business leaders?
He's going to say all the above.
They're everything. The judges have said, if somebody calls themselves a victim, we're not going to give any information about them, but they may not be victims.
Two different judges won't allow the information to be released. You telling me they control all three branches of government, but they can't figure out how to get this information?
Should have come out a long time ago. Professor Dershowitz wanted it out. And by the way, he is one of the best attorneys in this country. I know him.
That was
I know
old
his
Baldy
wife.
that we were
That's
looking
a
at
great
earlier.
family. And Jeffrey Epstein is dead. And
2024.
is in prison for 20 years where she belongs. And if people in that report are still fighting to keep their names private, Sean, they have no legal basis to do so.
I agree. This is one of the victims.
For what she, Jeffrey, and all the co-conspirators did to me. I was raped repeatedly. I was raped 3 times a day sometimes. And I was not the only girl on that island. There was a constant stream of girls being raped over and over and over again.
What are the names?
And yes, Ghislaine must die in prison. I was 10 years old when Liz Stein was being trafficked. I was 10.
You can't tell me that 1,000 people were hurt and that there are
There's only
no
one
people
guy
out there that we can arrest.
So that's what they're saying. And there was two of the victims literally on the island. That girl saying she was 10 when the other girl was being trafficked there. And then over 1,000 victims, and we can't find one other name of somebody who can be arrested. People have to be arrested for this, and not just Ghislaine Maxwell, and not just tying it to Jeffrey, every single thing to Jeffrey Epstein. Thousands of videos, or tens of thousands of videos, over 1,000 victims, and somehow it's all getting piled on the dead guy. There's other people involved. They need to be arrested as well.
They said they had them. Ghislaine Maxwell said, I don't know where they are, when she was asked a question about the videos that were incriminating.
So she's, again, asked about where are the videos, and her response is, I don't know where they are. Not they don't exist. There aren't any videos. What videos? I don't know where they are, so they exist. And who's on those? A lot of powerful people, and they're being covered up right now. Now, in relation to the video, there is more evidence that has come out recently. A metadata analysis by Wired revealed that the DOJ's full raw Epstein prison footage was edited using Adobe Premiere Pro, stitched together from at least 2 clips, video clips, and exported multiple times. On top of that, there was at least 1 minute missing at midnight. A lot could have happened in that 1 minute that is completely gone. You can't just say a minute of the footage is gone and then just say like that's the full thing. And then here we see again, it was edited multiple times, multiple videos put together and exported multiple times. That's the 10-hour footage released outside Jeffrey Epstein's cell, and we're supposed to believe that they're not manipulating that footage somehow to cover something up. What a joke. So here we'll see that there is more information, more evidence that we know that there are names that are being covered up on the Jeffrey Epstein list.
Either way, I must say, I don't know for sure if Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, Donald Trump were heavily involved in anything nefarious or not. That is exactly why we should all demand that we open these files. But the possibility of both Democrats and Republicans being implicated in some of these files, whether they did it or not, or just knew him, may give a plausible reason for why the Epstein files have been heavily redacted this whole time. There are very powerful people involved. We've known that. The reason we've been given, of course, is that, we've got to protect the victims. The real reason behind the scenes is really they're protecting the powerful people. Now, the most charitable interpretation is, as Bill O'Reilly said, it's because those people would have their lives ruined. They had nothing to do with Epstein, but we know some of them probably did. We know this from the Miami Herald because the FBI agents who searched Epstein's house found a cache of thick black binders all labeled with names that contained hundreds of naked or semi-naked photographs on CDs that Epstein stored in various places. The labels on the binders were redacted from photos because prosecutors said they were names of third parties.
There's the footage. There's the pictures of files from Epstein's house. The labels on the binders had third-party names on them, and so that's why they were redacted. So literally there's names here in Epstein's house on binders connected to footage of the evil things that they were doing, and somehow not one of these people can be brought in and questioned and either sentenced or given the information of who needs to be sentenced. Even if for some reason they're not fully involved or whatever, but their name is there, obviously they have some sort of connection here, and it's being 100% covered up. I mean, where's the truth and justice serving the people for the betterment of society? in all of this? I mean, what's the FBI and CIA getting any funding for when they can't even expose any evil with politics? I mean, they should be the number one people to expose, would be the politicians who are involved in evil acts in America and around the world.
Redacted from photos because prosecutors said they were names of third parties who were not relevant to the case they are mounting against Ghislaine Maxwell. So my question is, are those some of the third parties? Their names are on binders with a bunch of explicit photographs that Epstein was storing? That seems like something we should be investigating. Or what about the fact that since the FBI is saying there's no blackmail involved with Jeffrey Epstein, we investigate the Wall Street Journal report that Jeffrey Epstein allegedly tried to extort Bill Gates over an extramarital affair, because I thought there was no blackmail involved. And my real plea to people is to not allow comments like this, these statements about partisan politics, to trick you into thinking this is some type of left versus right issue. That is the Trump play right now. I don't think it's going to work. I think it's a disaster. I think it's very stupid. I think people on the right are just as interested as people on the left. I think this is a universal issue, as it should be. If there are predators in the highest offices in the land, be they Democrat or Republican, we want to know about it.
Absolutely. And that's for sure what is going on. Guaranteed there's people who are right, super right wing, super left wing on that list, people who aren't really involved in talking about politics at all, people in high positions who are, owners and involved in big businesses in America and around the world. We want to know who's on that list, and we can tell that they're lying. They're keeping information back. Even Epstein's own lawyer is saying he knows people who are on the list and who can be named, but they're being prevented from being named to protect their identity. These people need to be brought to justice, and it's important that we still bring it up. It doesn't matter if Trump's dealing with other things around the world with different wars, like Ben Shapiro says. No, this is a highly important issue, and for the people who are involved, just like the Bible tells us, a very stern warning: anybody who harms one of the little people, the children of the world, it'd be better for them if a millstone were hung around their neck and they were thrown in the depths of the sea.